Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear, and I'm here in our store in Smyrna, Georgia. This is the extended review of the Eagletac M25C2. All right, here we are with the Eagletac M25C2 in the packaging. This is the kit version. I didn't bring one of the regular versions home, so I'll talk about what's included in the kit that's not included in the regular version. So some basic information about it. 980 ANSI-FL1 lumens using the Cree XML2 LED. Runs off of 2 to 4 CR123s, 1 to 2 18650s. We'll talk about that more later. And you get 100 plus hours on the lowest output. So let's open this up, show you what you get on the inside. And as always, you can get the full specs from us, goinggear.com. User manual, always worth a read, especially with Eagletacs. There's a lot going on with these lights, a lot of different features and functions and stuff. Definitely take a look at that. We'll talk about what these are, that, all kinds of little stuff in here. Here's the light itself. They include them in a nice little bag, kind of nice for storage. And then some other stuff there on the bottom, paperwork. And stuff that you have in this bag, we'll pull it out just so you can see what the different stuff is. So I can figure out how to operate a plastic bag. Alrighty. So, lanyard. Eagletac's lanyards are pretty nice. So, nice heavy-duty nylon, good attachment point on there. You can attach that on the lanyard attachment point. This is a tail cap shroud, so it helps protect the tail cap so from accidental activations. I'll show you what that actually looks like. Alright, I'll take this bag out of the light so you can see what I mean. Man, I'm having trouble with bags today. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this basically slides over right there, and you can see it's going to kind of cover up the tail cap, help keep it from accidental activation. And then it also lets it tail stand. So if you like to tail stand the light, even though this is a really big head on a light, it's going to be very top heavy. You do have that ability with that guy. Extra O-ring if you need that. This replaces the cigar grip ring, so if you want to take that off, if you don't like that, this replaces that. Knocking my camera over. Having all kinds of trouble today. Alright, these other things that you have in here, these are battery extender tubes. So if you want to increase the runtime, not the output, but it will increase the runtime, or just the length, we have a lot of law enforcement customers that just like the longer lights, easier to tuck under your arm, and that kind of stuff. You can extend the battery tube. So this is going to add you to allow you to add on one more cell, so that'll make it a 3 CR123 light, or you can use two 18500s. And then you also have this one right here, which will make it a 4-cell light, allowing you to use 4 CR123s or two 18650s. Both of these come with the kit version, so these do not come with the regular versions. You just keep that in mind. And again, they don't increase the output, but they will increase the runtime. So kind of nice if you like that longer runtime. Set all that to the side, and then this is a little spacer tube if you want to use the extender pieces. Another thing that does not come with the regular version is this stainless steel bezel. So this actually screws off, and this does not come with the regular version. It's just a flat aluminum bezel, so same material that the rest of the body is made out of. Alright, so that's all the accessories and everything, and talked about the difference between the kit and the non-kit. Alright, let's zoom in, show you the light a little bit more up close. So this is kind of like an evolution or a different version of the G25C2. The T25C2 is another light that's very similar to those two lights. So I have one right here. G25C2 is pretty similar to the T25C2, has a little bit larger head, a little bit different feature set. But you can kind of see the difference in the size because these are the two that people ask about a lot, the T25C2 and the M25C2. You can see the difference in size. So this little guy is meant to be a compact thrower. So relatively compact light that'll still get you hundreds of meters of beam distance. Pretty impressive the distance that you get on that. But one thing you have to keep in mind, much larger head, same size LED. So they're both using the Cree XML2 LED. It's going to be a very focused beam. You'll see that better when we go outside. I'll take both of them just so you can see the difference between the two. But just keep that in mind. It's going to be a very focused beam on the M25C2, but it also gives you fantastic distance. So there you can see the pocket clip. You can remove that if you want. We'll kind of turn it around and show you the different parts. Here's your lanyard attachment point. You can remove that if you want. There's the switch on the end. Has the Eagletac logo. Pretty cool little touch. I like it when companies do that. There's the Cree XML2 LED down in there. You can see the difference pretty well between the size of the reflector and the size of the LED. So you can see pretty well how it's going to be such a concentrated tight beam. Okay, without the extender tube, it's going to be powered by two CR123s or one 18650. So we're going to go ahead and stick an 18650 in there. I always recommend using 18650s over CR123s for most people. The only exception is if you're going to be storing it for long periods. So this is going to be an emergency light. You're going to use it maybe once a year. Then put a couple CR123s in there because they have really good battery life. Otherwise, 18650s are the way to go. Save you a lot of money in the long run. So the one that I just put in there is an Olight 3400 milliamp hour 18650. Really good battery life. Eagletac also makes some really good ones. The Olights are just a few dollars cheaper, so that's why I tend to prefer those. And if you get the batteries and the charger from us, saves you just a little bit of money because you can get them in a bundle. All right, so operation on this thing. Lightly press the switch there on the end. You get momentary. Click it all the way for constant on. And then to change the modes, you loosen the head. So you have 4 different outputs. You can see as you loosen the head, it cycles through the 4. Keep on loosening and the head just comes off. One thing to note, let me actually take the head off so I can show you something real quick. A lot of lights you can stick the battery in on either end. This one you have to stick it in on the tail cap end because these pins making contact is how the light changes the modes. So you have to put the battery in from the tail cap end. Just keep that in mind. All right, go ahead and put the head back on. See the light cycling through the different outputs. You have some flashing modes as well, and the way to get into those is have it in position 1, so have the head tightened all the way, and then go from that to position 3 or 4, and do that really quickly, and it'll cycle through your different flashing modes. So you have some different strobes, SOS, beacon flashing, bunch of different ones. I think there's 7 total or something like that you can choose between. All right, you also have some hidden features in here. You have the ability to access strobe using the tail cap, and then you have some hidden modes where you can access some different flashing modes by loosening the head a little bit different way than we showed you before. So we'll talk about the tail cap strobe first. So have that head tightened, and we're going to turn the light on and off 20 times really quickly. So let's try that real quick. All right, I think that was 20 times. All right, so now double press the tail cap and you can get right into strobe. So that's disabled from the factory, so you have to do what I just did. Just do it really quickly 20 times and it'll turn that on to where you can get into strobe using the tail cap without turning the head. So that's a pretty cool feature. You also have what they call the tactical mode, or mode 2 I think they also call it. So you just loosen the head into where it's in position 2, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to turn it off and on 20 times. Let's do that real quick. All right, I think I got it. All right, so we're going to turn the light on. So with the head tightened, it's going to be max output. Loosen it, and it's going to be a lower output. The third position is going to be a strobe, and then the fourth position is going to be a faster strobe. So a little bit different interface, and one thing to note about this is when you're in this mode, loosening and tightening the head between the first and the third or fourth position is not going to get you into any of the other flashing modes. You just have the 2 different strobes accessible really quickly. So a lot of different features that you have built into the M25C2. Same stuff that you had on the T25C2 and G25C2 and a lot of their other lights. A lot of hidden features and functions, a lot of different flashing modes, a lot of versatility in these lights. So again, real quick on the interface, lightly press to get that momentary, click it all the way for constant on, and then depending on which mode group you're in, you can loosen the head and get the different flashing modes, and then I showed you how to quickly access the other flashing modes earlier, and then you've got the tail cap strobe as well if you turn that on. So pretty cool light, definitely a lot of versatility in this, and you'll see how focused it is when we go outside and how much throw you can get out of a light this size. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and take the M25C2 outside, and I'll take the T25C2 as well, just so you can see the difference that just the size of the head and the reflector will make between 2 similar lights other than that. So let's go ahead and go do that. All right, we're outside with the Eagletac M25C2. Got the big 40 mag light that I always use as a control since pretty much everybody knows what it can do. Let's go ahead and try out that mag light first. So there is a little tree about 30 feet away. Dock house down there on the lake is about 100 feet away. So that's the mag light. Let's try out that Eagletac, show you what it can do. So there you go, 30 feet, 100 feet. Obviously this light can go out a lot further than either of those distances, and we'll do that a little bit later in the video. But just to give you an idea of what it'll do at the kind of distances that most people are probably going to use this light at, 100 feet or below or less, you can see it still does really, really well. I'll show you the other outputs. Cycle down through the 4 different ones. You can see, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but the lowest output actually makes it out to the dock house pretty well. Let's actually zoom in just so you can see a little bit better. So that's the second one. That's the lowest. You see, it makes it out there pretty decent. I can see out there pretty well. And of course, you can crank it up to the higher outputs when you want to see a little bit better. Pretty cool light. Great distance on this thing. Nice interface. Lots of versatility. Lots of different outputs and everything. You can see the spill on it is pretty bright. So even when I shine it up, the spill alone makes it out to the dockhouse pretty well. Shine it around a little bit. Alright, let's try this thing at a longer distance and see what it can do. Alright, we got some more distance to kind of show off what the M25C2 can do. I also have the T25C2 out here just so you can see what the smaller head, same LED will do. Okay, so that boat right there is about 15 feet away. Got two targets set up out there, 50 yards and 100 yards. Same ones we use in the long distance comparison videos. There's 50 yards, there's 100 yards. Tree line beyond is 130 yards. Gets out to all of that really well. It can go much further than that if you need it to. Pretty cool light. You got the great distance on it. You got the variability in the output and all the hidden modes that I showed you earlier. Lowest output gets out to the 15 feet on that boat pretty well. Actually makes it out to the lighter parts of the 50-yard target pretty well. Then you can just crank it up when you need the higher output. Obviously a very focused beam. This is definitely made for distance. If you're going to do up close kind of stuff, you kind of get that tunnel vision. If you want to avoid that, you kind of tilt it up and just use the spill to light up more up close kind of stuff like this down here, and you avoid a lot of that tunnel vision effect. So that's the M25C2. Let me show you the T25C2, which is a light that's very similar in terms of the LED and features and everything, but a much smaller head, much smaller reflector. You can see more spread out beam. You can see how much of a difference just the reflector alone will make. So you can see very spread out beam, similar lumens, and you have pretty much all the same outputs and all that kind of stuff on this. We'll do them side by side. So T25, M25, very different beams. You notice the beam sizes are about the same, so that's kind of interesting. Even though they have very different reflector sizes, the beam sizes are about the same, but the hot spot, that bright part in the center, that's where the difference comes in. Okay, so there you go. That is the Eagletac M25C2. Great thrower light, relatively compact, gets you some great distances. If you like it, you can buy it from us at goinggear.com. Any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or any of my guys at goinggear.com. And if you like the video, please subscribe. Do a lot of gear and flashlight videos. That's it. Thanks for watching.